Did Drew Brees just make a comment that is going to haunt him for the rest of his career? What is up, guys? I'm NFL Global. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel for all your NFL news. I cover content on all 32 teams and covering big trades, releases, signings, draft, all that good stuff. So you're going to want to make sure you subscribe to the channel for all of your NFL news. Now, by now, I'm sure you have all seen the video of Drew Brees that has gone viral and has received a lot, and I mean a lot of criticism by fans, by people outside of the NFL, by a lot of players within the NFL organization. For those of you who haven't or are a little bit confused on what I'm talking about, basically during an interview with Yahoo on Wednesday, Brees said that he will, and I quote, never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America. He also later told ESPN that he stands with his teammates fighting for racial equality and justice, but he is also going to, stand with the military, both past and present. This, of course, comes as Drew Brees' family, people he's been close with, people within, his family circle, for lack of better words, have been in the military and such. Of course, his comments on the flag comes as everything that's happening in the world right now, with George Floyd and equality for races and everybody coming together and, the marches and all the protests that are going around in the world right now. Once the interview went viral, it received very, very harsh criticism, essentially right away, and this includes teammates that Drew Brees has with the Saints. This includes guys like Malcolm Jenkins, new safety who was formerly an Eagle, picked up this offseason by the Saints. Malcolm Jenkins actually released a video in which he was clearly very emotional, was trying his very hardest to clearly hold back tears, who said, and I quote, that he was hurt by Brees' comments and that they were extremely self-centered. Of course, his star receiver, Michael Thomas, their number one receiver in, the Saints organization, one of the best receivers in the NFL today, also commented back at Brees saying that he, and I quote, don't know no better. Newly acquired safety Malcolm Jenkins also had to say this to Drew Brees in his video. He said, and I quote, and it's unfortunate because I considered you a friend. I looked up to you. You're somebody who I had a great deal of respect for, but sometimes you need or should shut the F up. Star cornerback Richard Sherman also took to Twitter Wednesday afternoon in comment of Drew Brees' response here, and he had to say that he was beyond lost, of course referring to Drew Brees. Sherman also had this to say, and I quote, guarantee you there were black men fighting alongside your grandfather, but this doesn't seem to be about that, Sherman said. That uncomfortable conversation you are trying to avoid by injecting the military into a conversation about brutality and equality is a part of the problem. Of course, multiple other guys have also responded to Drew Brees and his comments, some guys being Damian Harrison, the defensive tackle who used to play for the Giants and the Lions, currently still a free agent. LeBron James also commented on the comments that Drew Brees has made. Now, like I said earlier, this all blew up very, very quick for Drew Brees. I mean, if you guys go to his Twitter or his Instagram and you just look at the comments, it is filled not just with, fans, but also players, people who are verified on Instagram just coming at Drew Brees, which is pretty crazy because, just a few days ago, Drew Brees was considered, just one of the most respected and looked up to players in all of the NFL. I mean, he really doesn't get caught in anything controversial. But in an Instagram post that Drew Brees posted on Thursday, he said that he was apologizing to his friends, his teammates, New Orleans, and the black community, the NFL community, and anyone, and I quote, that I hurt with my comments yesterday. Now, he issued this apology via his caption on Instagram, which he of course also posted with a picture basically of a black and white hand just coming together. But on Thursday night, Brees also issued yet another apology, but this time he wanted to do it via video message that he again posted on Instagram, saying that he wished that he, and I quote, would have laid out what was on his heart in regards to the George Floyd murder. He basically just tried to reassure people that he is someone they can count on and that he stands with everybody and that he wants to do his part to make sure that he's able to make a difference. Now, Jamal Adams, one of the best safeties in the league, current safety for the Jets, he came out also with some comments on Drew. His one tweet just said, come on, Drew. And then I'm sure as you all know by now, rookie quarterback for the Buffalo Bills, Jake Fromm, recently came out with some leaked tweets about some different racial issues. I will cover a video on that. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments below if that's something you would like to see. But he also issued an apology, and Jamal Adams came back saying that Drew Brees and Jake Fromm, that, they aren't truly sorry. They're just issuing these apologies because they got caught, and if they hadn't gotten caught, they wouldn't have cared. Now, Drew Brees also wanted to make sure that he was addressing his teammates because, again, a lot of his teammates, with any organization, his brothers, the guys that he's going to be playing with and standing beside for this upcoming season, were not happy with his comments, which, of course, is going to cause some issues within the locker room. So during an hour-long virtual meeting on Thursday, which Drew Brees asked to have, Brees addressed his teammates and apologized again to them. Now, an unnamed Saints player who was in that team meeting also weighed in to an ESPN reporter, saying that it was an uncomfortable situation, opened up the floor, though, for open line of communication that will make the locker room stronger through better understanding, which I'm sure when you hear that, the last thing you're thinking of is, you're saying that your locker room is going to be stronger. Despite the apology, Drew Brees is definitely still getting a lot of hate. This isn't something that he's just going to have to get past. And I mean, hey, if somehow there's going to be fans in the stadiums next season, I think that this is going to be a very tough situation for Drew Brees. Even if there isn't fans in there, it's going to be a tough situation. But just imagine how this is going to pan out if there are guys above the tunnel when he's going back into the locker room or coming out of the locker room. Now, Saints linebacker DeMarco Davis actually credited Drew Brees for issuing the apology, and he even called it a form of true leadership. Sean Payton, the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, actually tweeted back at DeMarco Davis, just giving him a total form of respect, basically saying that, and he said, and I quote, you're a special man, and the fact that this is another reason why, and I quote, I love our team. Sean Payton also used the hashtag #ChangeIsComing. Now, following the apology that Drew Brees made, his star receiver Michael Thomas came out and said, one of my brothers made a public statement yesterday that I disagreed with. He apologized and I accepted it because that's what we are taught to do as Christians. And then he said, now back to the movement, #George Floyd. Now, the running back for the Saints, Alvin Kamara, also tweeted saying this: I've had a day to digest the comments that Drew made. I was disappointed and hurt. We talked and I explained to him where he dropped the ball and he understood. But now it's time for us to be a part of the solution, not the problem. We have to educate to progress. Definitely a crazy situation. Like I said, Drew Brees is not that guy that you would have expected everybody to turn on with just a snap of a finger. So, I mean, this is all still new. It only happened a couple of days ago, so people aren't going to move on from it just like that. And like I said, it's going to be a tough situation for Drew Brees, especially because this is a moment that everybody's going to remember and a lot of people are going to define him for. From a football standpoint, I'm definitely very curious to see how this is going to go because, I'm not personally buying into our locker room is going to be much stronger after all this. These players were very, very visibly hurt. Guys like Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, especially Malcolm Jenkins, who was just bawling his eyes out over the comments that Drew Brees made. Brees was considering retirement this offseason. Many were expecting him to go the other direction. They weren't expecting him to come back, but Brees decided that he's going to come back for another season, which of course was a great thing for the Saints. You know, they're definitely a great caliber team, a great playoff caliber team, and a very much potential Super Bowl run caliber team. But after these comments, I think that it is very safe to say that there is going to be some form of disconnection in that locker room now between Drew Brees and everybody else. And having a disconnection between your quarterback, the leader of your group, and more specifically, the leader to your offense, which is essentially what is putting points up on your board and what is the main cup of tea, I would say, when you're looking at the Saints organization. It's just not an ideal situation heading into the 2020 season and definitely could plague this team from success. But that's going to be it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on the comments of Drew Brees? I talked a little bit about this with some of you guys over on my Instagram page, Patriots Global, and some people said that they stand by Drew Brees. Some people said that, you know, they can never respect Brees again. So it's an intriguing situation from different standpoints from everybody. So what are you feeling about this? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Like this video. It really helps me and the channel out. And subscribe to the channel again for all of your NFL content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.